And today's recipe, it's a sweet one that's only been tweaked once in the last century. Here to share a recipe in our CI kitchen from the Family to Table blog is the blogger Natalie Kenny Marquez. So this recipe only been tweaked once.
Yes. Not gonna lie, I was a little intimidated when I saw this in my great-great-grandmother Nellie's journal. There was the original recipe from 1912, and then she had another one that she had typed out from 1980 with a note from 1981.
Wow.
And really the only difference was the original one used water instead of milk, and it added a little bit of a lemon extract.
Okay.
So that's the only difference.
Well, if it's anything as good as that royal sauce, chocolate sauce, and butter brown sugar ice cream we made last week, this is going to be good. So it's gold cake.
Yes. There's 8 egg yolks in it. Not whole eggs, but 8 yolks. So that's where the gold color comes from.
Okay.
And the stick of butter.
Just one. I mean,
just one.
Balance. Okay, so here we have our egg yolks.
Yep, I already separated them. I'll keep the white to make a quiche or something. So
good call.
Don't ever waste anything
if
you can. So if you want to pick up the mixer and mix it just until it turns like the color of my apron.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've handled one of these before. I may not act like it.
And then once it starts to turn that bright yellow color, then I have a little thing of sugar for you to just add to that.
Okay. How much sugar is this?
That's a ½ cup. And so it's a 1½ cups total of sugar, but she's very specific about how to divvy that out.
Oh.
So a ½ cup with the eggs.
Okay.
And just mix till that's combined.
You really don't appreciate, you know, the steps taken, because usually you'll just see, oh, it takes all of this, I'll just dump it in and go. But this is very specific
There's
on how to do things
behind this, and I found that a lot with especially baking recipes. There's a lot of science behind it, and you got to follow instructions, which for me is kind of a hard thing to do.
Because it's like you just want to be done.
Yes,
you can't wait to try it.
But this is so worth it to follow directions.
Okay, so we've got our egg yolks, our sugar, and now we're adding in the butter.
Yep, so this is butter and the other ½ cup sugar together. I creamed it in advance so that we could go through the steps pretty easily.
Is this unsalted, salted? Does it matter?
I just grabbed what we had in the fridge, so my guess is it was salted.
I wasn't sure how specific Grandma Nellie was getting, you
it
know,
just
with
said
her recipe.
Butter.
Okay.
So mix that together.
Sure.
And then the next step, which I did in advance, is to show, is to put the flour in. And as I mentioned to you right before we came on, she says sift it 3 times.
Meaning what? So if somebody sees that in their recipe, what exactly does that mean? How do you do that?
So you're basically putting some air into it and getting out any clumpies.
Right.
I don't think that's a technical term, but yes, there you go. So this is the closest thing I have to a sifter in my house without having to go out and buy something.
Right.
Usually it's to catch the coffee grinds in my French press if I overfill it. So what I did is I just put it in here and I just
3 times.
3 times, 3 rounds through that. And then I measured out the baking powder and the salt, and there you go.
Oh, so you only sifted the flour?
Just the flour.
Not all of it together?
And it grew with the air, yep. So the next thing is to add that in, incorporate it a little bit at a time.
Okay.
And the last step is to add 3/4 cup of milk. And she notes that sometimes it can be less, so don't over milk it because you don't want it to be too runny.
Oh, man. Yep. There's pressure there not to overdo it.
Yes. And then when it's all said and done, you put it into your bundt pan that you put some butter in it.
Right.
More butter. And then you bake it for about 45 minutes and let it cool for a little while and invert it. And then we'll serve it up with some fresh peaches and fresh whipped cream.
Ooh, okay. Well, we're going to keep mixing, getting all of our ingredients incorporated here.
You're doing a great job.
Bake this gold cake up. There's a look at Natalie's blog, which has all of her recipes featured here on CI Living. There's her Facebook page. Give her a like.